You know, this ending was real weird to me because I'm now sitting at a nursing home, and I won't give up the name because for my protection. I don't want nobody coming here looking for me, trying to bring me something that's going to harm me or do harm to me. But I've been through a lot, you understand, and I thank God. I give Jehovah all the credit right now for how I've come out of this situation still breathing. And I thank the Lord every day. Thank you, Lord. I thank Jesus. In the name of Jesus, I'm so glad to see somebody come up here to even see about me. It felt so good. I want to. You know, I got an interviewer, and it's a beautiful thing. I led the group for 20, 30 years, and they all know me, and they want to know where I'm at. I don't even expect them to come see me. Once you get to this part of your life, it's like I've been through people coming to my house in East St. Louis and trying to get me to let them have sex in my house and for me to go get them some drugs or do their drugs at my house. I went through the whole thing. I finally got myself away from those people, and I'm not trying to hide from them. I'm just trying to close myself away from them for a while so I can get some clear, understanding about it. I still love them, but I had too many loose women, and then the men would ask me where they at when they would come visit me. So it was a difficult situation for me to fight out of. I went through this situation where I actually at one point selling to keep my habit up.
When did you develop the habit? Like when did that start? Take us back to
Okay.
when the usage and the toxic substance, when everything started. Like if you
Okay.
can remember.
The usage part, it came to me when they brought it to me about I left the coal mine. I was working at the coal mine, and I worked for the railroad. And when I left there, I got laid off, and I had to keep my income coming. So what I did was I started, buying me some drugs and selling them to keep up my bills. And then the next thing I knew, they said, you got the best, so they start coming to me like that. And I'm sitting here with all these drugs around me, and then I got to start using it. And I had some people came to town and say, we're going to provide you with this every day. And they would come to my house, and they would actually start to sell it at my house. Till people they knew would come sell other things like with boosters. You know how boosters, they'll come and they'll go to a Kmart or what somewhere and steal something, and they would say, well, where can I get rid of this at? We would take them to a place where they could get rid of whatever they had, like lawnmowers and weed eaters and what's the machine that you put your generator that run your lights on. They had all this kind of equipment that they had taken from the store, or clothes and shoes and tennis shoes and all this kind of thing they was taking from the stores, and we would go sell them for half price. Now, I was used to this because I went to the penitentiary for food stamps. Because I was buying them, I had 2 stores at one point, and I was buying the stamps from the people to help them pay their bills. This was the real reason that I was supposed to have done this, to help them pay for their bills. They say, well, they had $90 worth of stamps, and I'd give them $75 for it. that make me $15 to $20 with each one of them. And I got to doing that to the point where I made a living off of it. And see, at one point in my life, I was doing the music, playing at every tavern in East St. Louis. Every tavern, you know, that people would go out, they would come there to hear my band play.
What was the name of the band? Take us through the band. Tell us how y'all got together.
Yeah.
Take us through the music, like, because you never really touched on that before.
Okay, now this is how it started. I had just vocal group, and we were good and in harmony, you know, singing harmony. And then all of a sudden we seen some people that was playing music and they didn't have no singers. So we, you know, got together as, you know, a group and called it Unique Experience. I should have brought the picture with me. I could have showed them. We have people from East St. Louis that has, Eddie Fisher and Renee Smith used to sing with our group. And Bruce McNeese, is the leader of the group. And I did all kind of music. I had a couple of my own songs, you know, but this is how I used the songs to express what I had been through. I had a song out called Honey Hush. And it went like this. It says, seems every time I turn around, I was talking to my wife now when I was saying this, you complaining about the things that I do. I go to work each morning to provide nice things for you. Never seem to keep you satisfied, no matter how hard I try. Yet everything you say you want, I work overtime to buy. I spent $300 on cookbooks, girls, several different labels, and every time I want to eat, it ain't a damn thing on the table. And that song went across. I went down to Detroit, to Decatur, and traveled to Memphis, and I did that song on the Children's set. You know, where we went to different taverns down in Mississippi, Columbus, Mississippi, and went all over the world with that music. You know, I enjoyed doing that so much. Matter of fact, I still do it now, but I sing for the Lord now more, but I still love my music. And this is one I had called Pump My Brakes. It goes like this. It say, I see death and illness surrounding me in each and every direction. And only God can give me peace and my needed protection. Now we know that everything we do in our daily lives is not always in God's will. So let's pray for each other and encourage one another, and then through His grace, we'll be healed. It's called, Please Lord, Pump My Brakes. Pump my brakes. Help me to slow down when I move too fast. At one point in my life, I thought all I had was Cadillacs and nice house, a brand new house. My wife had a new car, I had a new car. But this shows you how life will do you, you know. And I just appreciate being able to sit here and tell everybody about how life went for me. You know, I love the Lord, but you know, I've been in church all my life. You know, like I was once made to go, and I went so much I didn't like it no more, and I decided to get in the streets. Then I started running into people that was on the opposite side of God. They were people of the streets, and they were what you want to call prostitutes and pimps, you know, and I kind of like hung out with them.
Where were y'all hanging out at?
We were hanging out in taverns, and we would go out in the park maybe and have a get together, you know what I'm saying? We would have parties out there in the park, and we would also, always sell weed. But it was who had the prettiest car and all that thing. We were into that. And
Who
I
had
kept
the nice cars back then?
say who had them?
Like what kind of cars was you driving back then?
Eldorado.
Why
Yep.
was that a favorite amongst black guys? Like what was that about?
I think there was more of the Superfly era
Okay.
and the Mac. They all drove Eldorados. And so I had mine, everybody in the group that I was playing with had, everybody in the group had a Cadillac.
Now what was the name of the group?
Unique Experience. That was the name of the group. And we played all over the city. Every place that would invite, if you had a wedding or a family reunion, we always was there and played for them. They would hire us, And I love doing it. And I still love doing it. You know what I'm saying? I done got too old right now. No, I haven't. I can still do it. I love it. But we just decided we went our own ways. Everybody had a good job. We had railroad jobs, coal mines, and we had the meat companies, packing houses. We had good jobs. I worked there till I had to go to some jobs that didn't mean nothing to me. But I did what I had to do to keep some money in my pocket, But now I'm trying to keep some life in my body by living here in this nursing home. Now the money that these jobs gave me, I'm giving it to them to stay here. I get 3 meals a day and a bed to sleep in and protection. So it's a clean life. They give me the medication. I got some slight sections of Alzheimer's where I forget. Now this is what brought me here to the nursing home, was that I started forgetting and leaving my keys in the door of the house and in the car. I'd leave them in the car to the point where, in other words, the drugs destroyed my memory bank and I couldn't remember where. Now I'm standing in front of people doing music and I got to remember all the lyrics because I'm the lead singer. So I had to remember the lyrics to the song, you understand, how it went, and it after a while I couldn't even remember my phone number. That can happen to us, And then I had so many deaths came to me, That's what brought the song Pump My Brakes, because I saw death coming at me from all different directions. And only God, I know it's not a thing that man can do, but I knew it took God to help bring me back to my senses. I would love it if, I'm thinking like this though, on the real side, that I would be shamed to be in a nursing home, but I'm not. Because they make me feel welcome. It's safer than the environment that I came from.
From the last time we saw you
Right.
to now, what's been the changes that you've been going through?
The changes I've gone
Since the
through.
last time we sat with you,
Uh-huh.
what's been the changes up until now that you've had to deal with?
Okay, I've had to fight with the fact that now I can't get the amount of drugs that I used to depend on, you know what I'm saying? I used to always could have all the drugs I wanted and all the weed I wanted to smoke and all that. And now it's kind of monitored. And so, but I get the medicine that I need to keep me going. So it's a good thing that I'm here. I'm away from a lot of the danger. It's almost like God is preserving me. He's put me in a place where I can say I can live for another 5 or 10 years maybe without, as long as I keep myself going, without You know, now I forget a lot of things, but other than that, I help them when people are needing to be moved and if they in the wheelchair. I help, or they forget what room they belong. I feel like I'm at home with them. You know, I help them out, and they all love me and know me. You know, so I can't say don't ever try this to your children at home, because this is a part of life. This is not like if you keep doing this, this is what's going to happen. That ain't what I'm saying. I'm saying once you get older, it's will. That's coming, Ryan. That's coming. It's going to come.
How has life been for you when you had to cut back on the toxic substances? And
By me being spoiled, it made it difficult because I'm used to having more. You know, I get to smoke the amount I want, and I was getting all the women that I wanted, and now I have to settle for a little bit of nothing.
all the vices of the devil
Exactly.
to keep you distracted and to thinking that you having fun, but you slowly pushing up your expiration date.
Exactly. And it's death. Actually, it's a death sentence. But I'm rushing. I'm rushing my life like that, and I'm doing it things that God don't care, for. So I'm not feeling comfortable about it. But I'm doing what I have to do. When I was out there, you understand, and it had to come to an end. I went to the one on 38th and State Street, and I hated that so much.
Why did you hate that?
Because they had so many strict rules. You have to come in at a certain time, and you had to be there. They gave you a place to stay, but it wasn't comfortable as this place. This place here is more like just a big old mansion. But I can go in here and play my games and just make my time go a little faster. I'm not on no restrictions as far as you can't walk out of this place because this and that. They trust me, now, and so I feel more comfortable here.
How was life for you, man, when last time we sat down for it? What was you going through then?
I was going through it because it was cold, right? I'm telling you. It was cold outside, and they had us checking us in. We were standing in the cold. I'm going to tell you one thing I did one time. I got so upset I went and got on the bus because I didn't feel like going in that building and them checking me, saying, you had some drink 2 beers. You had alcohol on in your system, or you smoked a joint. That means you can't stay there. Now I'm out on the street now and have to deal with somebody robbing me or killing me. So this was protection from all that environment.
Because the older you get, the more you can't be out on the street for real,
exactly.
man. Like that's it ain't for nobody to be on the street, but it's definitely not for an older gentleman to be on the street.
No, it's not.
Fending for itself against younger people.
Right. And I thank God that I'm still able to walk around, and because everybody I know in here almost is in wheelchairs and this kind of thing, to the point where that's why they depend on me to help them get. I'd say they'll come to me and say they don't like the taste of the food, and I go talk to the cook and ask if there's anything else they can have, that can substitute that. Or they have to go use the bathroom and they forget where it's located to keep them from wetting on themselves. I point out the bathroom to them or take them to the bathroom. Now, I'm going to tell you something that God is using me for. There's some ladies in here that has Alzheimer's, and they forget a lot of the things, but the songs that I was taught as a kid, like that I learned as a child. I will trust in the Lord. I can give that song to a person and it'll come back to them, and kind of snap them out of their forgetfulness. They had got to the point they don't even know their own family and children, but they remember the good things, and when they see me, they'll start singing that song, and that God is using me for that, and I thank you, Lord. I thank you right now for what the way I'm able to help them bring back the memory of those songs, because see, it's a message in music. You know, I'm announcing that I will trust in the Lord till I die. You know, that's all that song is. I will trust in the Lord. I will trust in the Lord. See, and when they hear that, it gives them a soft feeling in their head where that there is the God-fearing people still around them. And I love that part, you know. Some people will say, here he come with that singing the church thing, but I love it. I love doing it, and it brings back all the memories. I went to a church in Belleville, and I started singing with their choir. It's called Belleville Christian Center. And I didn't carry the band with me, but I met a lot of people up there that they already had their group going. We got to singing, and all the songs that we sung, I remember them, and I use them as I'm here in this nursing home, you know. But I've been treated well here, you know. It's almost all white, but that don't matter, you know. I wish I could say black and white, it don't matter, but you know, they still black, and people know your color. Just like you just met one of your school, not your school teacher, but one of the teachers, they're in here. I've got people that had jobs and things and had money and was important people. They're in the nursing home now, you know, and that's the part that I know how this has ended up, and I feel in my heart it's not the end, it's the beginning. It's the beginning, because you know I get the chance to, when I see people come here, if you came here from East St. Louis and you're tore up and feeling bad and hurt inside, to see a face that remember you is just, it does people good, you know. We can talk about the streets and the people of the city. It's just so good to see you come up here and visit me, to spend your time, although you could be somewhere doing something difficult or wrong or right. Either way, you choose to come and visit at the nursing home. That's a beautiful thing. God, Ryan, for that.
How does it feel to be away from the city? Like, how do you feel?
I'm glad. I was almost finna say I missed it, but I don't. I don't miss that speed in the fast lane situation. A song says, you know, when I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything. I was sick and tired of being in a certain class of people, but I actually needed to get away from the hustle and bustle of this, or it was going to kill me. I was letting young boys take my vehicles and use them because I had beautiful cars, and they was taking them and trying to impress somebody or going to get some girl with it. You know, I did all that, you know.
When did your habit get out of control? Like, at what point did you started and it was all fun and games? When did it get serious to where you couldn't control it?
Well, it kind of took over. I was always trying to control it, but they came to me as if your spot is more comfortable. I can come to your house, and a friend of mine, BMO, I'll call his name, told me that I always have had a house what he called ill repute. Now I don't know. I've looked in the Bible trying to look for a house of ill repute. I don't even know exactly where it's at, but he says it's in there about a house of ill repute. It's a place where you could go and have sex, and you could do drugs, and you could drink alcohol, and you could gamble. You could do even if you was homosexual, if you came over there with your spouse, if you was a female coming to be with a female and you didn't want nobody to know it, come to my house and we could sit back and chill, and everything would be all right as long as you took care of me, and I would take the rewards, and which was drugs, and destroy my body with it. That's what I was doing. But I'm so glad now that I can say that, you know what I'm saying, I ain't doing that no more. I'm through with that. You know, I actually have kicked the habit.
How many times have you tried to get clean in your lifetime?
Ooh,
Too many to remember? Or?
I bet you 4 or 5 times.
How long, what's the longest you've been clean?
I've been clean when I first, I lost my job, and that kind of made me go back to it for financial reasons. You know, I went into selling drugs to support myself, and then I started liking it, and I started liking freaks. You know, now don't get me wrong. I still love women now, but back then I was letting that overload me to the point where, you know, the women was more important than anything. I was taking a chance, even though I know that you got AIDS and all the different diseases going around. I was still having sex with prostitutes, and they would come to me and ask me, who, you know, about anybody want to buy some sex, and you know, sex has been sold in our neighborhood ever since, or in our, you know, environment ever since I can remember. The oldest profession in the world. That's the oldest profession, is having sex with. You remember a lady in the Bible, they was gonna stone her to death, and Jesus stopped them. She was a prostitute, and she was having sex with the men, and they say this is not of what the Lord has taught us, and we ought to put her to death for that. And the Lord told him, he said, the first one of y'all that ain't never did no sin,
let he without sin cast the first stone.
Cast the first stone.
Yes,
Ooh,
sir.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Yes, sir.
Say, let him throw the first stone, cast the first stone at her, and when he looked up, all of them had left, because they knew everybody done did something wrong in their life, you know. And I just want to thank God today that I have somebody see me, and with respect to do this interview. Me and you started this interview down in East St. Louis, and I was at a stage in my life then, you know, and now it took me to, I think I'm at a better stage right now than I've been out of all the rest of them, because I always eventually go back. I don't think now that I ain't gonna say I'll never smoke another joint. I'm saying I'll never abuse, whether it's alcohol, weed, or women. You know, I'm not gonna try to have 13 or 14 women. I used to consider myself a pimp, because I had women that would do things for me and give me the money, which I wasn't doing nothing with it but using drugs, you know, but I used women to do that. And, you know, I'm glad to say I made it through all the things that I went through. I made it. God has blessed me, and I'm able to sit here right now and I love it. I love it. I feel free about it. It feels good, and I don't have no regrets about it. I love it. You know, it's giving me some time to clear my brain. You know, my memory is coming back, because I'm taking the right medication for it. I don't think you knew a guy, I got to mention his name, he's dead now, but his name was Michael Green. He was considered a genius, and me and him was doing music before I left him because he died. But he used to come to me and he used to call me on the phone and say, Bruce, I need you to come. I say, what is it? What can I do for you, Mike? And he said, I need to go and see my mother. And she had been dead for 7 years, but I know he was getting Alzheimer's. And so I picked him up. And I picked him up. I say, well, are you hungry? Are you all right? He said, I need to go to the grocery store. I took him to the store, and he would go in that store and get some donuts. But what he needed was me to come see him and show him that he still have a life. And I never will forget him. He's the one that co-wrote Pump My Brakes with me. He helped me with the music side of it. He's a keyboard wizard. Matter of fact, he's one of the best keyboard players in East St. Louis. He was before he died. And I was inspired by Eddie Fisher, who played the Third Cup, and he was a jazz musician, and he told me, stick with what you're doing. He said, 'cause y'all good, man. We was good at playing that funky music, white boy. We played everybody's music, but we made people dance off of it, and we got off on it, enjoyed it. They would pay us like $700 to play for them, and we would pack the house. I never will forget that. That was a part of my life I never will forget.
So you were basically considered a local celebrity.
Yes.
How was that? Like, describe that feel and describe how they treated you. And did they roll out the red carpet everywhere you went?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And when I got to the taverns when we get ready to play, they always would have my favorite drink at the table. I think that kind of led to my heavy drinking and and drug. They would say, "Hey man, try a joint of this, or here's 2 drinks for you, and I'm gonna give the band a whole drink if y'all would play this song for us." We did all that. I enjoyed it. They was having this, and today is my wife's birthday, and she just, I announced over the microphones and let them know that we have a birthday in the house tonight. And, I enjoyed that kind of thing, entertainment, and I represented East St. Louis. And so I missed that part, but God gave it back to me. I'm going to show you how. When I come up in here now, they all know where I've come from and where I've been doing, so they still respect me. Everybody in here know me, and they know I'll help them. I have nothing. I don't have a selfish reason to be here. I'm here to help them. I don't have any money to give them, but I can give them what they need as far as companionship. I'll read with them, or help them with a problem, or we smoke a cigarette together. And so, a matter of fact, I've helped some people right there. One is coming out of the nursing home with a walker. He still can't walk. He's trying, but I'm encouraging him to keep trying, man. You can come up out of here, and that's exactly what I'm saying on that song. Let's encourage one another, so that through His grace, through God's grace, God say, "Hey, I'll let him." You understand? Let him walk. Because he's coming back to himself. Now I'm gonna take between me and you. No, it don't have to be between me and you, but he called his wife, and he lost his mind. This guy that's coming up here now, that made him go over the edge where he's had to come here and level off behind that. Mm-hmm. All right, brother. Mm-hmm. You understand? He was hurt so bad behind coming home, catching his wife in a sex act till he came here because he wanted to kill the guy. You know, it took him to that point where he wanted to take somebody's life. You know, now my brother wants to now say, well, okay, he have been to he got real educated, and he's above that. But see, Alzheimer's don't give a damn who you are. It'll attack your ass, and that's a weird situation. It will attack you, and you'll forget everything. All that you think you know, you'll forget. I can ask him about somebody that I knew he grew up with. Did you hear that they died? Or he said, I don't remember them. That's the weirdest thing to me. Or for a woman to see her daughter walk up and don't even recognize her. That's not a joke. That's Alzheimer's. It'll do that to you. That's what this guy that was doing the music with me, that's what happened to him. It was like he forgot even how to, the lyrics, the song, and had a voice like an angel. So the devil attacked him, took his voice away from him. Didn't take his voice away, but took his ability to produce it like that again. You know, and things can happen to you and shock you into a stage. Just like if you found out the day that your mother died and got hit in a car accident and killed her and her kids was in the car, that would hurt you and shock you and send you into a stage where you'll forget everything. You know, you're actually trying to run away from it. You know, but that's the way this thing has done me with this Alzheimer's. You know, I remember one time, right, while it's on my mind, I remember coming home and your grandmother herself told me, she said, Bruce, it's some people down here begging me for money. I said, well, how is that? But this was before she passed. I say, what happened? She said, I don't know, but they asking me for my money. So I said, well, what is it? I said, let's go in here and see who they are. When I walked in the house, it was her television. She was sitting there watching it, and they had one of those marathons where they say, send this money here, and we'll keep, which is to keep us going, and this and that. And they was asking her for money, and she said, I ain't gonna be giving these folks all my money. And I saw then how dangerous. I didn't understand what this Alzheimer's crap meant, you know. But my mother did the same thing when she used to tell me she wanted a Bonneville. That was her favorite car. She even named the color of it. She said, I want a burgundy Bonneville. One day we woke up and there was somebody had parked a burgundy Bonneville in front of the house. It wasn't hers, but she's thinking that the Lord had gave it to her and told me to go out there and see how it run and all that. I knew something was wrong then. I say, now this woman that's raised me and taught me everything has lost her strength through this disease, and it took her out. It killed her, you know. And it did the same thing to your grandmother, you know. You know, when it hit her. Now, the spooky thing about it, in a situation that you won't understand, but that shit runs in your family. I ain't saying this is gonna happen to you, but it will. Alzheimer's is hereditary. You know, it goes from, you know, okay, your son got it, your grandson got it, his kids. It goes from generation to generation. I'm praying for you that it'll overstep you. I've been bothered with it always. I remember a situation where maybe I better not put that in. Yeah.
What about in your family? Has it been in your family, like other than your mom?
Yeah. You know, she stood up in front of the church and thought she could sit here and tell them a story about, you know, you know how you go to the church and say, I want to show y'all what I dreamed or what the Lord showed me. She stood up and she was trying to do a song that she seen in this vision, and all of a sudden they said, y'all need to get her because she had the kind of story that didn't have no end, and she was going on and on, and then she got to the point where she actually would lay in the bed and take her hand and go around and around in a circle. And I said, Mama, why are you doing this? And she took my sister, which is B, and hand her to me, and she said, take care of my baby. I said, why? She said, because I'm finna die. I said, well, wait, what makes you think that? You know, wait, what? She predicted that she was finna die, and she did die. But she told me to take care of her, you know, take care of my baby, you know. And I kind of stuck close to B after that, you know.
How do you stay sharp, like dealing with it? Like, is it some things that you can do to kind of offset it and kind of?
The best thing that I found is God Himself, Jehovah. Once I keep His name and His, you know, feeling in my heart, I feel relief from the rest of it. I can deal with, you know. Other than that, because I don't try to be saying I'm gonna go get a drink to solve this feeling, or I'm gonna go get this or that, or go get that. I don't do it like that. I've been trying to kick this habit, and I quit it for a minute and went back to it because it was so plentiful. But now it's not easy to get, so I don't let it bother me. You know, at one point I'd do anything just to keep that money coming so I could keep some drugs. You know, I had a crack habit. But it's not to the point where I kill nobody or none of that with it. But
You just slowly hurt yourself.
I hurt myself. I never killed anybody or did anything like that to get it, or had to rob nobody. None of that kind of thing. But I did some things that I ain't too proud of us. I've taken some things from people that they had stolen, took them and sold them for profit. So my life took a turn, and it took a turn for the worse because, you know, it was no good ending coming, you know. But I think it's a good ending now, you know. I'm not dead. I'm here to say it, and I want to say, God, I'm sorry, and I apologize for anybody that I've hurt, you know, or in any way, you know. It was the sex that made me go that route rather than stay with the wife that I was. Remember, I was married on 40th Street. I had a wife.
How many times you been married?
Twice. My first wife, she worked at Monsanto, and I worked at the coal mine, so I figured, well, we got two good jobs, and she started going on the boat, and she would tell me that my bills is this amount, so she could, in other words, using my whole paycheck to pay the bills, and her check was hers, you know, but the boat was taking it. So there's other things that can hook you other than just drugs.
How would you compare the gambling habit to the toxic substance habit? How would you compare them to?
They're damn near close. They close because you can have a gambling habit, you understand, and it'll take every dime you got to. You know, it may not put you in a homeless position, but I lost my $50,000 home, brand new Cadillacs. You understand? I had brand new cars all my life. So I've had the best part of my life, but I got a chance to go and travel with my band to Detroit, Cleveland, Atlanta, you understand, Michigan, Chicago. I went all over the
What
world
was your favorite place to go?
down in Atlanta
Why was that your favorite?
because it was new and it was a black town, and they invited us in and they rode us around in limousines like we were celebrities. And we went to Mississippi though. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't just give it all to Atlanta because I went down to Mississippi. I went to a club which was what you call it well, women would be there looking for women. You know, it was like a prostitute hung out there, and they sold cocaine out of this place down in Mississippi, Columbus. And I say, how in the hell did this come up? You know, how did they get in back here? But they sold drugs right there, and they were snorting their cocaine and stuff right there on in the tavern. Now this is a tavern with dirt floors. They didn't even have a solid floor. They were spitting on the floor.
Had your habit started then, or did it start later?
It started there.
Okay.
You know, as far as I already was doing the music, so I gotta start going downhill after I started taking the drugs, and the guy told me, say, you wasting a lot of drugs because you could be smoking them. And when he took my cocaine and rocked it up for me, the party was over. I fell in love with the crack that I was handling. The cocaine, I was turning it into crack by putting it in baking soda.
Now, who was that you said that destroyed the group doing that?
Larry Nolly.
Now, what happened with that? What did he do?
He came to town with a big amount of cocaine, and he cooked it up and invited my band to come over and invited us to smoking crack. And one of the members was a school teacher, Melvin Jackson, and he went and sold the computers out of the school to, I wish I could show, no, I ain't gonna show you their pictures, but anyway, he would sell the computers to keep his crack habit, and it made everybody lose weight. So he got skinny as a racehorse. You know, he got small and everything, and you know, then your teeth come out. But when I went to the penitentiary, I saw all the things that it was doing to you. Now I got something else I want to put in this interview. I got sick about 6 years ago with something called I had an aneurysm. Do you know what that is? Most people get them and it goes to your head, but mine went I had an aneurysm in my stomach. And that's where your blood vessels swell. And they prescribed me a drug to fix that condition, which was called Oxycontin and phenol and all that old shit. That's how I met all them drugs and things that I took. And that's what started my addiction. The doctor was prescribing them to me. They were legal, but
highly addictive.
Highly addictive. And he was giving me 120 of them a month. And I was selling them for $10 a piece.
You wasn't scared of the fentanyl?
Yeah.
Or was that before it kind of?
They started killing people with that fentanyl. Before that, it never affected me. You know, I could take the medicine. I knew it was, but I had. Let me show you this right quick. I got a scar in my stomach that goes from here all the way down my leg. It was like the biggest scar where they went into me and had to cut this out of me and all that. I went through some pain with that, you know. Hey, throw me one of them cigarettes. Let me grab me a cigarette. Don't stop the camera. Let me grab me a cigarette. What you call it? St. Vincent. You know,
Privacy.
private. Now, I know you had been there before. You had been there. Why? Why?
You keep thinking that. Remember, I told you now. It used to be too many people that used to be out there, so we would go around the corner to the spot you were staying at.
Yeah.
So that's how that would go, because it would be too many people.
Distractions. Yeah.
So,
You know, it was an unpeaceful place. But as you see, the peace here is totally different.
And you're in a better mental space too.
Yes.
You feel better. You're thinking better. You're
I
thinking
feel
more clear.
A lot better. Something that's scaring me out my music. But I know if I go back and get back in that set, it's going to be hard for me to avoid the women and the drugs and the alcohol again. You know what I'm saying? I know the drinks flows. I'm gonna tell you one episode I had that I was involved with some big drugs. It was the people that was involved is dead, so I can't. You know, it was some of the black ones. They put some drugs in my hand and told me, so you just get the money back. You know, it's $30,000. That wasn't no big money to me. I could get $30,000 for what they was giving me, and they was giving me some of the best, the kind of cocaine you could cut. You know, and I was taking it and cutting it up and making the money with the drugs, and then they arrested him and took him to jail and gave him almost a life sentence. Some of the brothers that I went to school with, like Summerall and all them, they got life in the pen for cocaine because they brought so much into the city. I was lucky enough to get by that, you know. I'm thankful to be still alive and here to tell about it. Because I was told by a couple of guys, he said, I know this is a lot for you to get rid of, but I got 2 keys I need to turn. And I say, man, I ain't got this kind of clientele. He said, you'll build it up. And I didn't know cocaine was going to become popular the way it did. But all these, because now when I got out the hospital and started taking these drugs, I'm thinking, oh, well, okay, this is not cocaine, but I found out later on that was heroin. That was heroin that they was giving me to overcome the pain from this cut that they put in my stomach. So I've had a fight with drugs, either trying to heal me with them or destroy me with them. It was but only God has helped me through this situation. That's the only thing that eased the pain. I believe in God so much. I know it's a God. I ain't saying I think it's a God or we didn't just pop up. I know God is there and He's with me. He went with me to the penitentiary when I went to Marion, which is one of the worst penitentiaries you can go to. I did 3 years in there. So this is a cakewalk compared to Marion, you know what I'm saying? So I can say I'm in a better place, you know what I'm saying, much better, you know, place than that place that I had, you know, when I was in Marion prison, you know. Now, I've had some close calls here because I ran into some people that's weak mentally but physically strong. I'm going to explain that. Some of the women here is quick to throw themselves at you because of their needing of a man and being locked up in here, but at the same time, they are mentally not themselves. And I know that's not right for me to take advantage of, so I haven't. But this is, I know I can get out of here because I've got my place, I got a place to go now and stay. And I can end this madness, but I can't go back to drugs. I can't go back to, I can do my music, I believe, but I'll have to do it instead of attend church and change my situation with that. Because God has been too good for me not to explain and sing for him. You know, I've got to show him that I appreciate it. You understand everything he's done for me. And he was with me in the penitentiary. He's been with me through the whole race that I've had through this. Me and my wife went through a separation because of me losing my job at the coal mine. And I was making such good money, and it stopped, and all of a sudden I had to keep that amount of money going. And then I started running the band, and I was making money, but I also started making a lot of bad mistakes because I met a lot of people. I did. I went to Chicago, Detroit, and Atlanta, and had a woman in every town that cared about me. I ain't talking about just a woman that I knew that I was having fun with, the ones that expected me to come back and be their man, you know. That's the kind of life I was living. But I would go and tell them I'd be back, you understand? And we would come back and play maybe 3 times a year. But they would see me and we would enjoy the sex. I've had some of my friends have did this to me since I got into the drugs. They would tell me to take their wives upstairs and have sex with them because they didn't have money to pay me for the drugs that I had, but I was delivering them to them. Bring me an 8-ball and take my wife upstairs, and that's the way we're gonna pay for her. You know, and I did that several times, and I influenced some people that I think I'm getting paid back for some. You know, you ever heard of karma? That's the way I feel. If some of the things that I did when I ruined people's families and lives, that's how mine's got ruined like that. You know, I lost a lot of clothes that I know has cost some money. But I don't care about that because I can always replace them. I can't replace my life, but I still got it. So I'm sitting here now with a rejoicing feeling, with a rejoicing feeling behind what I've been through. You know, I came out of it smelling like a rose compared to a lot of the people. Some of them was deaf. Some of them didn't make it. They can't sit here and tell the story of what happened and how they got here, you know.
And we're going to keep telling your story, and we appreciate you sitting down with us, and we're going to catch up with you real soon, man. I appreciate you taking the time out with us, and we're going to sit down and do this real soon.
This is a beautiful thing because I can't thank you enough for coming to see about me and to get the interview, because we started this before I came here, and I had no idea I was going to end up at this nursing home.
But one thing about it, we're going to continue, and this just the start of what we're going to continue and keep it going. And, hey, man, thank you very much. Thank you for everything.
God bless you.